Welcome back to Beast Wars as we kick off a massive charge towards the end of the first season. But first, we want to take a moment to introduce another character. We're reminded of how that works by watching a flashback of when all those stasis pods went spewing out. One of them is about to come in again, and Tarantulas is all over that. That's how they wound up adding Black Arachnia to the team. And of course, the first thing the freak did was turn her into another spider bot. Lord knows what he has planned for this one. Thankfully, Megatron is on hand to interfere and hopefully stop this depraved freak from whatever his latest fucked up plan is. Since the pod is coming down near Scorponok and Black Arachnia anyway, Megatron has those two go to retrieve the pod while leaving Tarantulas here to do the important job of sitting still and keeping his mouth shut. But those two aren't the only ones in the area. Rhinox was doing a little recon and spots the pod as well. And elsewhere, Cheetor sees it and manages to get through to somebody. Our buddy Tigatron. Oh, by the way, I should address an important mistake on my part. Given the snow and the ice, I assumed that the creature he ran into was a snow leopard, even though his name does kind of sound like it has tiger in it. Well, apparently he is intended to be not a snow leopard, but a white tiger. One you might very well be familiar with, given its prominent place in many entertainment venues. Can't really say what its native environment is, of course, seeing as how it's not a tiger species, but rather an extremely rare result of two tigers carrying a recessive gene that controls the color of the coat of a Bengal tiger. And so they almost never appear in nature. See, these tigers are exclusively bred for their coats, inbreeding them to the point where the line is riddled by genetic defects, such as immune deficiency, scoliosis of the spine, cleft palates, mental impairments. Oh, and also, the gene itself that's responsible for the white coats is also responsible for the connection of the optic nerve. So all white tigers are cross-eyed, which makes them all the more dependent upon their masters and thus easier to train. And because this is a recessive gene, of course, only 1 in 4 of these matings is going to result in a white cub. And of those white cubs, 4 out of 5 are so crippled by birth defects that they don't survive into adulthood. And as for the orange ones, well, they're useless, so they are frequently slaughtered. So, please accept my sincerest apologies for my mistake. I thought when you saw these things, you should think of a big cat known for its ability to survive the frozen wastes. But in reality, you should think of an artificially perpetuated freak of nature, the result of inhuman cruelty and wholesale extermination. My bad. Anyway, Black Arachnia and Scorponok have arrived.
There it is. Just as Megatron said.
Just as Megatron said. Just as Megatron said. Don't you ever get tired of groveling to that saurian?
No, Megatron told me not to. Rhinox is first on the scene and sees that the problem is this pod is fucked. Plus, there's all this energon discharge in the area that normally would demand beast mode, but obviously you can't repair a damaged stasis pod when you're a rhinoceros. So he shuts down weapons to allow the shields to protect him while he's in robot form. Inside he finds... That can't be good. That looks decidedly ungood. They'll need to get it into beast form quickly, which means doing a DNA scan of the area, only the damage has wrecked that part of it. And that's when Cheetor shows up.
Cheetor, what are you doing here?
Well, I saw the pod heading for Crashville, but I didn't expect to find you.
I'm glad you did. I need help.
And I'm so desperate, even you technically fit that category. Rhinox explains that the protoform inside the pod is dying, so they'll have to act fast, especially with the Predacons closing in. Tigatron takes out Scorponok because he's an idiot and getting knocked out is his job, but Black Arachnia then gets the drop on Tigatron, putting an arrow into him so that he is down for the count. Oh, that's the second worst thing that can happen to a white tiger. The first, of course, is being born. With him out of the way, there's nothing stopping her from heading to the pod, where the drama continues to unfold.
Our new Budbot there deserves some kind of chance. You know a lot more about protoforms than I do.
Considering there are only 5 things I know in the universe, and 3 of them involve butts. So Cheetor goes offline so his parts can be used to try to help save the protoform, which means it's back to his messed up dreamscape for us. This is when Rhinox appears in his vision to explain for the first time the idea of the spark, the unique thing that makes a transformer what it is as a person. The soul, to put it simply.
When a spark goes online, brings great joy.
Colors. When he comes around, Rhinox has the chip and stabilizes the protoform for now using that. Although Cheetor is going to be mostly stuck in beast form for a while, limiting his contributions to licking himself and peeing on things. Though that tends to be most of what he brings to the table anyway, so he's playing to his strengths there. Plus, he's going to have to run interference when Black Arachnia shows up, so he'll have to use a little bit of limited time in robot form to try to fight her. And Rhinox is going to have to leave him to it with time running out.
Program not accepted. Spark will terminate in 4.8 cycles.
I have no idea what the conversion rate on that is, but I have to admit, every time they bring up how many cycles are left, I can't help but think of...
With endless options for renewal. With endless options for renewal. With endless options for renewal.
The battle doesn't look good for Cheetor, who has the stuffing kicked out of him. But just when he's about to be shot like Tigatron, well, it's like all the examples of face-palming incompetence were there to balance out this one moment in time, because he catches her dart between his palms and drives it back into her own head. Ironic, considering how much Cheetor needs people to drill a point into his thick skull. It's little more than a breather, because guess who else is here?
Who dares attack Waspinator?
Pretty much anybody will. Sorry, Waspinator. Waspinator cookie business ruined when Girl Scouts beat up Waspinator and throw cookies in sewer. But he's joined by Pterosaur, and with Cheetor forced back into beast form, this is now like a safari run by a Terminator. But Rhinox is moving as fast as he can, even running the program through his own CPU, which I can't help but think sounds dangerous. Yeah, you'd be surprised how rarely that normally comes up when you're coding, although this is what others will do to you if you leave out the comments. He has barely enough strength to switch back to beast mode before he passes out, but it works. The DNA scanner is actually functioning. Now all we've got to do is get some DNA, but that'll be difficult. If this were the back of a New York City taxicab, we wouldn't have a problem, but this wasteland is devoid of life. You'd have better luck finding an actor not grandstanding at an awards show, or a clean table at McDonald's, or Waspinator showing dignity. Well, maybe that last one was pushing it. Cheetor can't outwit both of them forever, though, and eventually Pterosaur takes him out of the fight, leaving him free to gloat over Rhinox in the stasis pod. Ah, but finally a bird flies overhead, gets scanned, and her helpless protoform now... How do you like me now? So it's soon Battle Royale in the skies over this wasteland, until you just want to tell him to oil up and start humping already. That's obviously where this is going to end, right? But the fight continues with Air Razor eventually blasting Pterosaur to pieces. The shame of it. You were just defeated by someone who's less than 5 minutes old. Even Waspinator is going to get some cracks in over that embarrassment. Rhinox brings her back to base, where he praises her abilities to Optimus, who is no doubt grateful to have a new addition to the team. And plus someone who can fly so he doesn't have to do every damn thing himself around here. The episode's tight focus allows a strong emphasis on character. Rhinox and his passionate drive to save the protoform, Cheetor having to step up and run interference. This allows them both to shine in their roles and bring the drama of the situation up a notch. Even the cameo by Tarantula serves character by showing his self-centered scheming that will play an important role soon. The material around the spark not only serves the story well, but adds something important to the lore, explaining the difference between being shut down and being killed. Maybe that's why only a Quintesson could restore Optimus Prime to life. It's not just repairing, but restoring his spark that makes him alive. The spark is a fine outing for the show and a good introduction to our newest team member.